Hello everyone, welcome back to yet another video. In the last videos we have discussed about arithmetic operators, comparison operators and all. For now in this video we'll be discussing about logical operators, membership operators and identity operators. We'll be discussing in brief, we'll be taking each and every example for each and every operator. We'll be checking what is the output and what we have to use and how you should use, what are the syntaxes and all, and what are the different types of operators we have in this logical operators, membership operators and identity operators. We'll be having that look, don't worry. So for now let's take logical operators first. So generally logical operators are the things which takes the decisions. Let me write decisions. What it do is, logical operators checks the conditions between, if you have two different conditions, let's assume you have a condition A and condition B, it will check both the conditions. It literally represents the logic behind it. And if we mention both the conditions are true, it will be returning true. If any of the condition is false, it will be returning false. In the same way we have, let's look at the types of logical operators we have in Python. We have AND operator, OR operator and NOT operator. These are the three different logical operators we have in Python. We'll be discussing about each and everything. See, let's take an example how this works. Let's assume you have A is equal to 5. In the same way B is equal to 10. If you write, if you check the statements like A greater than B and B greater than A. See what I have written. I have written A greater than B, 5 greater than 10. This is the wrong statement. And in the same way we have written B greater than A. This is the correct statement because 10 is greater than 5. We are checking two different conditions with logical operator, right? We are using a logical operator to check two different conditions in your left hand side and on your right hand side, right? If you check the output, you will be getting false. Why? Because you have seen the output, right? Here you can see it is representing false, because what it is doing is it is checking both the statements. It is checking A greater than B and B greater than B. You have used AND, right? So if both the statements or conditions is true, then it returns the true value. If any of the condition is false, it will be returning false. Even though one statement is true, it won't check the other statement on the right hand side. It just simply writes false. In the same way, if you use OR operator in the place of AND, you can see the difference. The same conditions we are checking, but you'll get something different. See, for the first thing, AND operator we got false as the output, whereas for the same condition checking for OR operator we got true. Why? Because for OR operator we are saying OR, any of the two statements. If A greater than B is true or B greater than A is true, return true. Okay, that's the reason behind this. If you check AND operator, you will be getting only true if both the statements are true. In the case of OR operator, you only get true, you only get false if both the conditions are false. That's it. You get the idea, right? In the same way, let's check NOT operator. NOT A greater than B and B greater than A. If you look at in between NOT, we have taken the same statement from the above, right? A greater than B and B greater than A. For instance, for this statement we got the output as false, right? But here we are using NOT, so we'll get the reverse values. For false we'll be getting true, for true we'll be getting false. See, it is returning the output as true. Here if you check, A greater than B is false statement and false and true. It should return false, but we are saying not. Not false means it will be true, not true means it will be false. Let's assume it is also B greater than A. For instance, we should get true value, right? But here we'll be getting false because the condition is true. But in the same way we are assuming it is not. We are using not, right? For that purpose it reverses the condition, it reverses the output. If an expression A is true, then not A will be false. and vice versa, right? For AND operator, the condition will also be true if the expression is true. If the two expressions A and B are the same, then A and B must both be true. Okay. In the case of OR, the condition will be true if one of the phrases is true. If A and B are two expressions, then A or B must be true. If it is true and B is false. Let me explain you in more detail. Let's assume you have AND operator, right? For AND, if both the conditions are true, it will be returning true, right? In the same way, if you have true and false, it will be returning false because one condition is false, right? In the same way, if you have false and true, it will be returning false. In the same way, if you have false and false, it will be returning false. So for AND operator, if you want the output as true, it must be both the conditions must be true, right? In the same way, if you are using OR operator, it will be something different as we discussed earlier. If you got the statements as true and true, you will be getting the output as true only. In the same way, if you have false and true, you will be getting true only. In the same way, true and false, you will be getting true. In the same way, false and false, you will be getting false. So in an OR operator, if you want the statement as false, you have to get both the statements as false, then only you will be getting the false output. Whereas in AND, if you want true statement, both the conditions must be satisfied, so then only you will be getting true value. Otherwise, each and every statement will be checked and the other will be neglected in the case of AND. Whereas in OR, if any of the statement is true, you will be getting the output as true. That's about it. And in the same way, if you are using NOT, if your condition is true, then it will returns. If your overall condition is true, it will returns false. Whereas if your overall condition is false, it will be returning true. Okay, got the idea? This is the thing about logical operators you need to know. That's it about logical operators. Now let's look at about membership operators, how we use the membership operators and what are the different types of membership operators. So let me clear this. Let's take membership operators. See, membership operators, the name itself indicates whether it is a member of something or not, right? The membership of a value inside a Python data structure can be verified using Python membership operators. So the membership of a value inside a data structure will be verified by using membership operators itself. The result is true if the value is in the data structure. Otherwise, it returns false. If the value is present in the set of data we have, it will be returning true. If the value is not in the data, it will be returning false. So the different types of operators, membership operators we have is in and not in. Not in. So these are the two membership operators we have, in and not in. It will check if the value is present in the set of data we have. Let's assume we have 1 to 10 numbers. If 5 is present in 1 to 10, between 1 and 10, you will be getting true. If we ask the program like 50 is present between 1 and 10, it will be returning false because we don't have 50 in between 1 and 10. So that's how it will be functioning or performing in programs. Let's assume we have some code like you have a list of data like A is equal to, we have a list, let's take some flowers, rose, lotus, right? You are having a list of values. In this A variable, you have stored two different types of strings, okay, two data, like you have rose and you have lotus, right? If you want to check whether rose in A, whether rose is present in A or not, if you run this, you will be getting true because rose is in A. You can see rose value is present within A, so it will be returning true. In the same way, if you want to check, print, let's take sun, not in A. If you run this, you will be getting the output true, because sun is not in A, right? You have only rose and lotus, so sun is not in the value of A. In the same way, if you check sun in A, you will be getting false, because sun is not in A, right? So this is how you use the membership operators in Python for checking different kind of things like data, or whether it may be a data or it may be a logic, right? You can check with membership operators whether this value is present in between or in the list of values, or maybe in a tuple or in a set as well. You can check whatever you want in during the course of Python. Okay, that's about the membership operators. Now let's look at about the identity operators. Let me clear this. Identity operators. See, generally the identity operators is similar to membership operators, but the change will be in membership operators we will be checking whether the value is present in the data structure or not, whereas in identity operators we have two different things like is and is not. Okay, these are the two different operators we have in identity operators. Let's take we have same values like list of rows and lotus, right? In the same way, let's take another variable containing rows and lotus, right? If you also take c is equal to a, let's take print a is c. What you will be getting if you run this, you can see true, because you have assigned the value of a into c. So here what you can see that c variable is getting the values of a variable. So the rows and lotus, list of rows and lotus is within c. So that's why if you ask a is c, it will be returning true. In the same way, if you check a is not c, you will be getting the output as false, because a and c are equal. The values in a and c are equal, so it will be returning false. In the same way, you can check print a is b. If you run this, you will be getting false. Now here you may get some confusion, because if we have the values rows and lotus and in a, and the same values rows and lotus in b, but we are getting, if we ask a is b, it is returning false, because identity operators uses reference. See, if you are referring a value to c, then only you can check the identity operators whether c is equal to a or not. If you don't refer c is equal to a, means if you directly input a value into this, like let's assume you are having 5, and in the same way you are having b as 5, right? If you are assigning 5 into a, and in the same way you are assigning another 5 into b, so a reference will be created for a. In the same way, a reference will be created for b. So the identity operators checks the reference, common reference values in it. So you are referring a value to c, so 5 in common between a and c, but whereas you are taking another 5 as a reference for b. So that's why if you check between a is b, both the values are different, because the references are not same. So it will be giving the output like this. In the upcoming videos, we'll be discussing more important concepts in Python. So that's all for the video. Thanks for watching.